Jonah Palmer, biggest punter in the Centennial. So you asked about plantar fasciitis. Like I was saying, I've never had it, so I can't really speak too much from experience. But what I can speak from is fantastic book by the GOAT Kelly Starrett, Supple Leopard. So most of what I'm going to show you is stuff that I pulled from here and some other ideas that I've heard about that. So thing number one to help clear up plantar fasciitis in the foot that I want you to try: ball. So this is a lacrosse ball. You could also use a baseball. You could use a softball if you had it. Probably wouldn't work as well. You want something a little bit smaller. Tennis ball, you could do it. It's not going to, because it's not like hard, it won't give you a lot of pressure feedback, but depending on how sensitive your foot is, tennis ball can work. So just different options. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to smash out the tissue that is all along the bottom of your foot here, which is that plantar fascia. So we're going to stand up, we're going to take this ball, and we're going to stand on it and just roll through all this gunk. So it's going to look something like this. So ball right in the middle, and then obviously you can control how much body weight you put on that foot and just smash all the way through there, front to back, head up underneath front of the toes, and get back onto the heel. Try, if you have what's called a peanut made, or this one would be probably a little too big, not ideal for this, but you can take the side of your foot and stick it in a peanut and grind through some things that way as well. Or if you don't have it, just ball, bottom of the foot, all through there is a great place to start. So that's thing number one. Thing number two. So that addresses tissue here. Other things, obviously, we need to address upstream for the calf and kind of front of the shin, because this all plays a role in how the tissues move downstream and in the foot. So first, attacking front side guy. So depending on how tight you are, you can start with something as simple as this. So we're going to drag our foot into the ground, toes kicked back, and just open up all that front side, digging around in there, trying to find corners, rolling through, find a hot spot, hang out there for a little bit, breathe through it, get some motion. If that works for you, you can also do that same kind of thing from like a kneeling position. If you have the mobility to kind of get here, then you can use your body weight and just sit right on top of that. And you could even lean back, get some pressure. If you got to throw a kickstand in there, do it. Otherwise, just sitting back with some pressure, bring the legs up off, or knees up off the ground a little bit too. You can do that. Hang out both those things. Everything, do it for like 2 minutes. If you want to cycle back through it, do it again, go for it. After that, then, so that was the front. Now we're going to the back. So going back to lacrosse ball. We're going to take that lacrosse ball and we are going to be sticking it and shoving it all down through the inside of the calf behind that shin bone. So we're not on top of it, but we're getting at all that tissue that's back behind it. So crossing the leg over, sitting however you want to, ball, back of that tissue, and just pressure down in through there, smashing all of that junk that might be locked down, especially if you're dealing with that plantar stuff. So just smashing all the way back through there, hit everything, even come down back into the heel cord, behind the ankle, all that, well, I guess not behind the ankle, the back of the ankle, because that is the ankle, all through there. 2 minutes, moving and grooving. If you can get onto like a couch or something where you can have your essentially shin down but your foot hanging off the edge, you can take the ball and do all that same stuff, but then as you're doing it, flexing and rolling the foot, and you'll feel kind of, you can just almost put the ball in one position, and then just you moving it will be another way of breaking up those tissues. You can, of course, always grab a foam roller, which I'm currently using as my video stand. So let's change to the dresser. Foam roller, and do the same kind of deal. Coming through, sliding back and forth, moving all that tissue, flexing, foot, moving around. If you need a little bit extra pressure on things, you can lift yourself up off the ground and slowly move your way through. Let's get this back here. Ha! All right. So, that addresses bottom of the foot, front of the shin, back of the shin, and all those tissues. Now, you can't forget about toes, because possibly your toes might be really locked down or even like locked up, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the tissue under there on the bottom of your feet. So you are going to get real friendly with your toes to help get them moving and grooving. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our fingers and we're going to interlock them with our toes. So it's going to look something like this. As I dig in there, get the toes in position. So I am, yeah, I think you can see that. I am interlocked and dug in between my toes. So doing one, this is already good stuff because it's already spreading the toes and opening the foot to give that some more space. Next thing we're going to do is going to give yourself a little bit of leverage, cross it over, and you're going to kind of hold the ankle in place, and you're going to do a couple things. You're going to twist and turn the foot up and down and all around. Your foot, ideally, should be a very mobile part of your body. There's 26 bones in here and a whole bunch of different tissues and whatnot. And so if those 26 super tiny bones are locked down, that is not great. So you're going to end up with things like plantar fasciitis. That's a weird way to say it, but whatever, same thing. So toe mobilization. One, other thing you can do or need to probably start working on is, and I had a video of me doing this the other day, is working on controlling the toes. So it's one thing to be able to get your fingers in there and move the foot, move the toes, and then it's another for you to actually control that. So I want you to practice moving the toes. So 3 things, or maybe 4 things. So picking up and putting down the big toe, picking up and putting down all the other toes while the big toe stays down, picking them all up and slowly lowering those 4, bringing them back one at a time, bring them back, and then the big toe all by itself, and then all together. So you mobilize the toes and then you control the toes. You might have the experience, as I did when I started, that you literally don't know how to pick up your toe. It happens. I had to do it. What I did to help me with that then is I grabbed my toe and I just picked it up, and I thought as hard as I could with my brain about like picking up all my toes, and I held the other ones down and I just pulled with all my might, thinking big toe up, big toe up, big toe up. And then over time I was slowly able to like it would quiver as I picked up and went back down. And then now, if I get into a little better spot, now I have better control of that toe. So that is toes moving and grooving. Let's see. Next thing, ankle. So ankle is obviously an important part of the foot as you are running. This part is the ankle version of the cars that control articular rotation. So going to lock up underneath your knee, and the goal of this is to move the ankle without rotating the shin. or the knee. So right now, this back and forth movement is all me rotating from the knee. It's not my ankle moving. I'm controlling the lever up here, and that lever is turning the position of my wrist. So like for example, it's the same thing as what I'm doing with my shoulder. I'm externally rotating at the shoulder because it's all connected. The wrist moves, but the wrist itself is not moving. So we don't want this motion right now. What we are after is just the foot moving. So we're going to make a big old circle with the foot moving through, no shin movement. And so we're trying to push and make that circle as big as possible as we're coming through there. So, ankle stuff, 2 ways around each side. Ankle comes up to the knee. Knee car. So now we are going to attack the movement of the knee side to side and then also up and down. So with this, what you don't want to have happen is I'm moving my knee and now my ankle goes too. The ankle should not move as it goes through. The ankle just happens to, the foot's rotating because the knee is moving. So we're going to, one, practice this internal and external rotation at the knee, and then we're going to add some extension to it. So, making a circle at the knee for the knee car, I'm going to rotate one way, extend, do your best to rotate it at the top, bring it back down, and then close. Back to start, and then reverse it. And last but not least, the other day for pugs, I made a video about the hip. While you're doing all this, you also need to address hip issues because your hip is intimately tied to what happens in your arch. Here's what I mean. It's probable or possible that you're having trouble with the fascia in your foot because your foot is collapsing as you're running. And so you can kind of see if my foot collapses, meaning my arch is collapsing, it's not the only thing that collapses. The ankle goes with it. And if you watch, if the ankle goes, so does the knee, because it's got nowhere else to go, it's all connected. If the foot goes, ankle goes, knee goes, what else is gonna go? The hip. If I drop the foot, ankle, knee, the hip internally rotates and gets stuck here. When I'm internally rotated, I lose a lot of the good function of the hip if you're stuck there. So it'll always be like every time you're running, it's all collapsing in on itself, and then it's making that fascia tissue at the bottom real pissed because now it's taking all the force of your body hitting the ground and it's not in a stable position to do so. So, that was a lot of things. I hope it wasn't too many things. I hope it makes sense. So, summarize. Ball to the bottom of the foot, stretching the front of the shin, ball back into the calf, also doing the classic calf stretch up against the wall or anything else on a stair, whatever, open up the calf. Then getting your fingers in between your toes, get those moving, followed by practicing moving the toes independently, all on your own, lonesome, all your own control. Ankle car, slowly only moving the ankle in and out to gain control and strength of that, followed by knee car, gain control of the knee, and followed upstream, hip car, gain control of the hip. So, point of the game, move the tissues, control the joints, run happy. Best of luck, JP.